tried to bribe me. I've been to prison, a detention center.
Why does this case bother you so much? I mean, you've had a lot of people ask you to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Why do you stay interested in it?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of when you go through life, you living with lies or you living with people talking about things. I want it all over with. The racism, I mean, I've been on the street and, you know, I told people I dated a black woman and everything, and you can't get nothing. A white man goes around here and says he dating a black woman or hang around black people. You can't get no loan. You can't go to no bank, borrow money or nothing. They turn you down.
You know, we have been long talked about this case. We know that how this case came about. To give you a little background, Mr. Malcom allegedly, and we know that to be the case, stabbed the gentleman, Mr. Hester, but it was rumored that he had been sleeping with Mr. Malcolm's wife. And so we know that after this incident, Mr. Malcom was arrested. Not even 3 weeks later, bail was posted for him. And this gentleman, his wife, Mr. Dorsey, and his wife were all taken to this Morrisford Bridge, where they were brutally lynched. And as you all stated in the beginning of the show, shot over 60 times. We know that there was a grand jury that was impaneled. Over 50 suspects of interest were interviewed, but no one was ever accused. No one was ever arrested. And so we have this mass public lynching, one of the last mass public lynchings, one of the most egregious acts, and included in this is a World War II veteran. No one has ever been brought to justice in this case, and so we're so glad that you all and other media outlets are taking a look at this case as we continue to push for justice.
Now, there was wasn't there an Associated Press report several years ago that claimed that there was some indication that the governor at the time, Eugene Talmadge, had actually visited that particular town, spoken to the brother of the man who had been stabbed, and basically said anybody who takes care of the African American who was involved in this, they don't have to worry. Is that?
That's absolutely correct. And remember, during that time, Governor Talmadge ran on the platform, segregation now, segregation forever. You know, and so he was politically motivated, and many would say empowered the people in this community to let them know it's okay. You know, African American, black life don't matter. And so you're absolutely correct. Governor Talmadge, in his own right, sent a message to this county and to the state.
So talk about Wayne Watson naming names and just who Wayne Watson is.
Wayne Watson is a gentleman from Monroe, Georgia, Walton County, who had been sought out by one of our people in the county. People had always said that there was no one alive, there was no one available that would be able to shed light on this case. Well, we're so glad that Mr. Watson was found, and we were able to bring our then president, Ben Jealous, to interview with Mr. Watson. His interview was so compelling that initially we were just talking to him, but he began to name names and locations and people and places, and our president Jealous said, wait a minute, we need to get this on tape. This guy is talking about very compelling information that the FBI need to be aware of.
Alan Cook, the DA, was trying to find out who knew about it, nothing like that. Evidently, my attorney told somebody or told him. Because next thing I know, everybody in Walton County knew I was the one that knew about the KKK, who's alive. And people tried to bribe me. I've been to prison, a detention center. And they offered me money. Robert Mitchell offered me $250,000 to keep my mouth shut and walk away in '99. I told him I wouldn't do it. He said, you'll be dead before you ever testify.
And first of all, let me thank also State Representative Tyrone Brooks. I don't want to be on the show without giving him the credit due for convening us in this case. So Dr. King had been informed about this case. Dr. King had made a commitment that after he left Memphis, that he would be visiting Walton County. And so Dr. King never made it. You'll recall that Dr. King was assassinated. But Dr. King was always interested in this case and coming to Walton County to speak out on this injustice.
And Herb Boyd, talk about the significance of this case and why you got involved in a documentary on it.
But it's really Keith Beauchamp's idea. You know, he had put together the untold story of Emmett Till. And it has pushed him more and more into the history of lynching. It's good to see that Brian Stevenson, you know, has brought out that study and connecting it up in terms of contextualizing 1946. Here's a returning veteran, gone off, you know, fought for this country to come home, virtually still in uniform, you know, when he's abducted, along with his wife, along with Roger Malcolm and Dorothy. She's 7 months pregnant. So when we heard about that, Keith said, let's do this one. And the most powerful thing about his documentary is the reenactment that we do on that particular incident.
And what did you discover at that time in terms of what has been investigated?
Well, you know, we were looking at how the FBI, you know, would be involved in this situation because they had given the other cases we had worked on, had given us every indication that they were going to seriously pursue this situation. Tyrone Brooks was very, very instrumental in helping us understand the background of the situation, but I don't know, you know, it just kind of stalled at that point. We went on to other projects, and only recently with it popping up in the news again, we have to go back and revisit and take a look again at the kind of research we did on that situation.
And DuBose, at this point, what are you calling for now?
Well, we've endorsed a letter last year and even this year to the Senate Judiciary Committee. We want the Congress and the Senate, the U.S. Congress and Senate, to take a look at this case, call for an investigation of this case. But keep in mind, in 2008, then Congressman John Lewis and Senate Christopher Dodd sponsored the Emmett Till bill, which allocated resources for cold cases. It has never been fully funded. And so, one, we want it to be fully funded to give the resources to the Federal Bureau of Investigation that they need. If that's the holdup, give them the money that they needed that has already been voted on. And President Obama can do that. And so we hope that people who are watching will join us in reaching out to your Congress or Senate and tell them to communicate with Mr. Grassley, Chairman Grassley, to allow this case to be investigated and those responsible brought to justice. If we can find Nazis in the United States who've committed atrocities, certainly we can find people in Walton County, Georgia.
And there's an indication that there are still several people who may have participated in that are alive.
We are convinced that, and we believe that the FBI is convinced, we hope that they move, that there are people still alive who were involved in this case. There were over 200 people on that bridge. You couldn't tell me that all of them are dead now.
Charlie Pepper?
Charlie Pepper, I believe, knows more than what Charlie Pepper is saying. And I hope they continue to interview him.